Good, glorious morning to you folks, wherever you're watching this from. And if you're here, it is probably because you want to learn what is involved in living off the grid, at least where I live. What am I up to today? What I'm up to today on this gray day, which, by the way, I noticed that recently I was shooting all the videos, bear with me while I set this, was basically shot on sunny days. And I don't want you to think that it's all fun and sunny days and, as they say, shits and giggles. There's a lot of gray days. It's funny because we didn't have much sun. We had 5 weeks of no rain, and then 2 days of rain. Now, and really 3 if you include the fact that it was cloudy. Not rain like torrential rain or rain that some folks have been getting around the globe, flooding them, displacing them, disrupting their lives and livelihoods. Not like that. We haven't had anything like that for as long as I've been here anyway. And all of a sudden 2-3 days of rain. So in here, my biggest compost bin, I have last year's compost here, layered with ash, sawdust, leaves, mulch leaves, comfrey leaves for as a nitrogen fixing, crushed eggshells, not powder but just crushed. That could be it. And so that sat out here for, I would say, exactly a year. And now I'm going to mix this with some chicken manure from inside our former chicken coop, and also layer with ash, and spread them maybe half an inch thick on our 33 organic raised beds. Without further ado, let's get going. But I will stop to tell you from time to time and inform you what I've learned over the years of doing this. First of all, nitrogen. I mentioned nitrogen fixing. That's a good place to start. Nitrogen is something that everything needs, but to grow, but it's more responsible for foliage and leafiness of what you're growing. Too much nitrogen, as you might have seen or heard, there are places that have algae blooms in lakes where farmers have gone nuts with their nitrogen, and so the wash off has made its way to the lakes and made the algae blooms that are not particularly good for anything. Chokes the air. Nothing can really grow there. The fish can choke because there's no air for them to breathe. How did I get this in there? So, oh, there's another piece stopping coming out. Here we go. Well, I should put these separate so I know what's what. And yeah, so potash is what you want for growth. Problem is that potash costs more than nitrogen, a lot more. And so the farmers everywhere have opted to use more nitrogen than potash. Ironically, Canada is one of only 2 countries, like a sort of a duopoly, if you will, not a monopoly, because I think Russia or one of the Russian Federation countries has also a lot of potash in addition to Canada. But still, it's expensive enough that farmers don't particularly want to use it. And that's not good. So now what I do, I don't buy any fertilizers or anything. It's all natural here. What I do is that I have a lot of wood ash from my wood-fired cook stove. And so I use that to layer things. But even then, I don't do a lot because this can also make for leafy rather than... Oh, sorry, but I just noticed I'm making too much noise for you. I'll try to edit it or something. So look at this. Look at how gorgeous this soil is. And if I ever see any rocks as I do this, I will take it out as soon as I can, because in the raised beds, you don't have a lot of rocks, and that's how I like it. I love rocks, but not in my... Here we go. Not in my... I don't want rocks in my raised beds. I'm not trying to grow a rock garden. Everything really should have its place. And from time to time, you find something like bits and pieces of whatever, like this foil. Oh, and there's more of it. I gotta collect that and get rid of it. This is not ours necessarily. When I pick up people's leaves from curbside in town, which is at around this time of year, I mean, for them, it's garbage. Everything's garbage. So they'll put whatever else garbage they have in with the leaves. And so as I empty the leaf bags into my compost, oh, I heard a rock. I try to... There. I try to pick through them, but I can't sift everything, and that's just a lot of work. So I do my best. Oh, a big chunk of rock. To get as much rocks or garbage that might be there off. You saw how many shovelfuls I put in there. This isn't like everything else that I do here for you. This is not really a recipe, exact science into how you can do it, or you should do it, or anyone should do it. I don't know everything. I don't profess to know everything. I just do what I think, try to use my intuition and try to think what's the right amount. So now I'm going to take this back in front of the chicken coop, where I will mix a layer of ash and then chicken manure. Do I have sawdust? I'm not sure. Before I go back to the beds. I'll be right back to take you with me. You just enjoy the serenity of the forest. Oh, this compost smells so good. I feel like you want to eat it. A sip of water. You should always have your water with you. You don't want to have to walk all the way back. So, take my gloves off and give you a tour of inside of our former chicken coop. And I can show you where I've piled what. Maybe before I go, I'll show you a little construction of how I made this particular compost bin. So look, 3 posts. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. With the distance wide enough, pretty much only wide enough, not too wide, or else they'll start to not sit on top of each other directly. The logs, that is. See how they're stacked up on top of each other? Sort of like a log home would. And by the way, if you're ever here, we can build together something like this, but a structure to not to live in, but for a warmer month. It won't be insulated, as you can see. Lots of gaps, lots of gaps. It's just temporary. It's just for fun. We have the space. We have the logs. As you can see, the logs have been out. They were already falling down. Now they're pretty mushroomy. Mushrooms are different kinds of mushrooms are growing on them. And by the way, this particular tree, let me show you. This particular tree here, aspen poplar, is pretty good for inoculating mushrooms. And I made a little structure on the north side of the house. North side because it's shadier. And I guess you can buy a package of organic mushrooms if you don't have a chicken coop. That would be the absolute best way to do it. And then in the shade, it grows really well. You can have your own mushrooms, your own organic mushrooms at any time of the, not any time of the year, but for the most of the time that it's warm enough for it to grow. Let's go inside, and I hope it's not too shaky for you. So, welcome to the inside of the chicken coop. I'll give you a tour of it another day, because I don't want to keep getting distracted. So what I'm showing you there, that pile, is about at least a foot, if not 1.5 feet thick. That is a 3-year-old pile of chicken manure, light and fluffy, and what they say is aged. And also here in front of it. Here on the right, where it's drier, you can tell it's drier. That little sort of a foot and a half, 14-inch dry strip. That is 2-year-old, same thing, chicken manure and compost mixed together. I won't be touching that this year. Over here, all this green that you can see here, and under it is a year old. The top one's not a year old, obviously you can see, but under it is a year old. And when I finish emptying that big compost bin that I was showing, that I just got my compost from, all of this big enormous heap, about 2 feet tall, all of it will end up, I will shift over there and layer it with ash and leaves and let it rest for a year before I go back for it. And then the following year, I'll come back and take that pile over there and mix it by that time this will be a year old, and that would be 3 years old. So I'm going to set the camera here somewhere, and hope that you're able to see me. I mean, I don't know what there is to see me, just shoveling manure, compost manure into a bucket. All right, but I'll just do it for a couple of buckets, and then I'll turn it off and we'll get going to more possibly interesting segments. Boy, I hope I don't bump into this camera. All right, so I got my bucket there, and I got my short handle shovel here. Oh, a piece of plastic that goes in my pocket, and rocks can come off. Tea bags can go back in the compost bin. Oh, one more here. Oh. All right. Oh, this soil is so loose. This is brilliant. Ah, so loose. This is perfect for garlic. Garlic likes loose soil. Oh, tea bag. So the way I kind of eyeball it is that one sort of a bucket of that compost that you saw me get to one bucket wow, as loose as it was, it's fairly heavy. Oh boy. To one bucket of manure. So let me reposition the camera for you. Again, sorry about all the shaky. Calm down. Boy, I gotta go even lower. All right, so that's what's in there right now. Before I add my chicken manure, my composted chicken manure, but that's still not good. Maybe. Sorry folks, the production crew is not here today. Just kidding, there's no production crew, it's just me. Hey, there you go. There you go. It's better, isn't it? Yeah. You're seeing all this footage raw. No editing, no. This feed bag has wood ash in it. About that much is enough. Not a ton. Now I will proceed to mixing it with okay, so look. avocado. I guess this will be all gone by next year. What I'm doing right now, I should say, is that I'm getting the soil ready. This is what a lot of people don't realize. Organic soil takes time to make. We spent $5,000 when we started on just constructing the frames for our 34 raised beds. Of course, at that time we didn't know we didn't have any carpentry skills, and this is why now I hold workshops and I will teach folks who were like me at one time before they decided to move or make the move here. So they don't have to worry about being judged by someone who's been doing this for decades. More rocks. When I see the rocks, remember, get rid of the rocks. You don't want them in your bed. Or don't. It's really your bed. You do what you want. I don't want them in my bed. Bits of plastic come out. Very time consuming. So we're doing this now so that it would sit out in the elements for another till like June. What is it now, October? For another good few months, and we'll also break down even more over winter and spring. And then come June, oh, I dropped it. Where was that rock? Acorn. Come June, this will be nice and yummy for whatever we plant in it. And we do crop rotation too, so when you do that, you have to remember, maybe we have a diagram, what we planted in what bed, so that the year after the same plant isn't going in it. Just because different plants have different needs. That's just charcoal. Oh, that's a bit of a rock. Oh, that soil is so loose. It's glorious. It just means that when it rains, it won't get compacted further, and it won't be hard for the delicate roots of whatever when they're trying to start life out. Sort of like us, I guess. Oh, rocks. No, thank you. People have been asking me to do this sort of a channel thing for a long time. My one sister-in-law for decades. Shout out to Auntie B. But I have, I think, a face for radio. And I don't particularly like the sound of my own voice. So I always rejected the notion. But now, as more and more people ask, and as I get older and maybe less vain or whatever, rock, or maybe not more secure. Who's so secure? I thought, well, let's share. And if you've noticed, I'm not having any Google ads or whatever, YouTube ads, same thing. So you can watch these with no disturbance and enjoy them. Okay, let's go set the camera up by one of the beds, and I hope I can do it systematically so I know which beds I did do. And the reason I say that is because, well, let's take a walk over and I'll tell you why I say that. Before I go, let me get some water. Yeah. The other day when I was moving firewood, I dropped a piece on my old water bottle. This is a really heavy gauge, heavy duty water bottle that I got, I don't know how many years ago. It's by Clean Canteen. And at the time, you couldn't find water bottles that were insulated in Canada. And if you could, they were so expensive. And so that's lasted me a long time. I think that was one of the first. Oh, look, we had frost yesterday, so I had to cover our lettuce. And we're getting rain again. As you can tell, it's getting cloudy in about an hour or so, so I have to cover it back up again, because even though we're getting rain today, the temperature, it is going to clear and the temperature is going to drop, which means that where can I start? Which means that maybe I'll start from back of the garden. Which means that there will be a risk of frost again, and if not frost, then cold enough that the lettuce won't be able to handle it. So let's start from here. The cabbages. I don't know if I've taken you here. Oh, look, a few cucumbers. Can you see? Oh. Cabbages are doing good, despite the caterpillars. My daughter loves them she makes some kind of Asian dish. So I need to put this somewhere, so when I come back with the wheelbarrow, I don't know if you can hear this. We have a forest school across the road, sort of an art nature forest across the road, and it's just getting out. They're just getting out, and so kind of noisy, but I don't mind as long as that's screeching, not good. How can I position this so you can see well? Is that better? Okay, well, I have this mic on me, so at least I can talk to you as I walk back and forth. I wanted to deadhead more calendula today, but they're still soaking wet from, even though it stopped raining, about 24 hours ago or so. The petals are still wet, and I don't want to harvest them wet because it's just harder. Okay. So historically, I put 2 wheelbarrows full on each bed, but for some reason I don't think I have enough this year. I mean, I would have loved to have had horse manure, aged horse manure, but as less and less people are having horses, for whatever reason, then there isn't much to be had. And also, you have to remember that because we're far from even some country folks, then delivery becomes an issue. Oh, there you are. Hey. Rocks. I see some rocks. Every time it rains, some tiny rocks show their faces, and I don't want any of any size. Ideally, I would have sifted this. I don't know if you've seen those sifting things that they use for cement or something when they make that kind of stuff. But like I'm saying, everything takes time. You need a lot of manpower. Don't attempt this if you're on your own. It's a lot of work, and I mean, you could do it, but depression isn't going to be far. In other words, don't go from, you may be in a bad place right now, but don't go from frying pan straight to fire. You need a support system, you need a support group, you need people that you can talk to. I mean, I'm here as a guide and they're your rocks. Guide and a, what's that? Oh, guide and a coach, but I don't, unless you live here, and even if you lived here, I can't be here for you all the time, and it becomes expensive because I can't do this for free because I also need money to pay for things. So really partner up with a friend or your spouse. Make sure that they're on the same page before you move here. That's the other thing. Just because you want to get out of town doesn't necessarily mean that your spouse wants to get out of town. Obviously, I would agree with you if you're here watching this alone and not with your spouse. I agree because I'm here. I forgot to mention, this sort of a clover or sorrel, they're fine. They're doing something. It's not, they're thought of as weed. I mean, really, we think of everything as weed if it's not, they're edible, they kind of have a lemony taste to them, some of you know. So I just pull them out, but I don't get rid of them. Let them be here, and they will compost. When I put that layer of compost on, these will also compost over the next, 6 months before we're back here again to plant. So yeah, I think there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to think about. It would be brilliant, though, if you could have the support of your family, your friends, certainly financial support, and you may or may not have the means to buy some land outright, and or like us, you might run out of funds. And you should really have someone to go to say, hey, I exhausted all my resources. I think we came with 500,000 over 10 years ago, and at that time, that was a lot of money here. And people CBC sent a crew over to interview us to see why we were coming here. And the local folks, we were talk of the, not no town as such, but people were talking, who are these crazy people that are moving here when everyone's moving to greener pastures? And we thought we had enough funds to build all these structures and be mortgage free and everything. Little did we know that a couple of years later, we had completely exhausted our resources and had to go borrow money against the house and the property. But thankfully, we had family that was able to see our vision and was able to support us that way, lend us the money so that we had a really rough few years, like, I don't know, 4 years? More rocks. And so, yeah. What is this? Somebody's label. But it is totally doable. You just have to be tough enough and resilient enough to do it. And we are, and we did it. We're doing it. I see single moms trying to move here to offer a better life for their kids, and it's so much harder because who's gonna watch your child for you when you're at work? We're not exactly at downtown, and that maybe your child has like an after school program or any of that stuff till you get there. You have to be able to sort of think about all of these. That is the hardest demographic that I would really say don't do it. Really. Find another single mom, maybe. I've recently it's not a recent thing, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but and that is to start a sort of a community that would be sort of cater to sort of an all ages. Everybody brings something to the table. And in other words, you pool your resources. For instance, if I have land, I will put the land up to share. A younger person or a couple with a strong back but less resources would provide the human resources, the physical might to be doing all the tree work that I showed you, all the whatever. Someone who loves animals, and in my case, I would have to say, I would love it if someone could just do, if they only like chickens, they would only deal with chickens. I only wear these glasses for close-up. I don't know why I have these on. For close-up. Somebody likes donkeys, they would only deal with donkeys. Really, I don't want any cows or, things that pigs, maybe boar, not necessarily wild boar, not necessarily pigs. I want to retire all these things, and even instead of chickens, maybe geese, kind of thing. And as someone that likes to build structures would only focus on that. Now, somebody who loves looking after kids can look after kids while their parents could be working inside or outside of the community. Someone who is an elder that doesn't have the physical might anymore, and instead has some resources by this age, would provide financial in way of paying someone to look after her or him, or to build structures or drive them to appointments, but for money. So those, because like I said, everybody needs to eat. Anyway, I said too much. I'm digressing. I got to do this before the rain. So I'll take you back. I'll take you back to where we were. I'll do one more load before I give you a break, because what's the point? You've already seen it. Or if you want to, write to me and let me know if you want me to just shoot. I keep on shooting until the battery runs out, instead of just doing a little bit and then leaving you to imagine that I'm doing the rest. Trust me, I'm not cheating. I will be doing it just because the camera is not running. This is serious work. Serious work that needs to get done. Whether you're here or not, doesn't make much difference. It has to get done. Oh, maybe if I put it here, you can see better. Can you? Let me see. That better? Okay, I'm off to get the wheelbarrow, but gotta get some water. Yeah. I feel like I should be apologizing for not having all the fancy equipment or the patience to do editing, or the know-how. And in my research to find out if I'm going to be doing this, just to give you an idea, when I shoot an hour-long footage, it takes, I would say, an hour-long footage ends up taking 4 hours. Because if you don't believe me, I'll do a breakdown for you. Well, an hour to shoot it, and that's not even including me moving the camera back and forth. That's me doing the actual work. That's an hour. No one's gonna dispute that, because it's right there on the screen. Then I have to compress the file. That takes an hour. That's 2 hours. Then I have to, even if it's light editing, because I do have to watch it again just to see if I said anything inappropriate, as I do, and make sure I didn't offend anyone. And I'm probably saying more offensive things, maybe, and I apologize in advance if I do, my future. Not really intentional. So, hi, I'm back. Okay, so these beds of avocados, let's throw in the back so we don't have to take them again. Oh, here's another. Wow, I guess we need a lot of avocados. So that's 3 hours, and I wasted. I bumped into the post, wasted almost half of it. So that's 3 hours, and then I have to finally upload it to this YouTube. That takes an hour, and you wouldn't believe it, but up until recently, we didn't really even have hardly any internet. Now that we have this high-speed internet, I'm feeling brave. Uploading, I didn't know, but I'm guessing some of you already know, takes so much more bandwidth and time down than downloading or streaming or whatever. And it's, these are costly things. And so you see, it's not just the time that it takes, but there's real money in doing this. So I don't know how the folks that have so many videos and they keep posting videos and keep posting videos, how they can afford it. I suppose I do know. I suppose they allow advertising on their website. I don't have that on their website, on their channel. I don't have that on my website. I don't have that on my channel. I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to advertise, allow for advertising. And I remember in 2007 when I started when I had my first website, and I couldn't understand. There was something called pay-per-click, and I didn't understand how anybody would want that, because it's hard enough to get people to come to find you on your website, and then you put all these temptations. And I'm not talking like X-rated links or ads or anything. I'm just saying, just for them to buy stuff, and with one click they're gone. Will they come back again? I don't know. Now, I don't care right now. I'm not doing this. I'm just sharing my experience with you. But whether you stay or you don't stay, you subscribe or you don't subscribe, or you, like or not like, or there's one other thing. Oh, there's like a golden bell that I think you click on, and but what am I telling you for? I'm the one still in the 20th century. So it's the thing is, like, every time there's a new video by people that you subscribe to, I guess it sends you a notification to say, oh, there's a new video. Wow, why am I finding so many rocks? Anyway, so did I feel a raindrop? It's supposed to be rain, sun showers, so, which is better than full-on rain, but still. See, this doesn't look like this was fairly full, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of compost here, but I've taken one load already, and look how much I've only taken maybe an eighth. Oh, I see a rock here. I love it when I can see it right away. I can get rid of it. There goes the oh, more rocks. I just have to get used to looking at the lens and talking to you, because this is therapy for me, being out in the forest and smelling this insanely gorgeous compost. I mean, even if the compost wasn't here, the leaves, I'll show you the leaves as I move the camera. You can see how they're decaying on the forest floor. I mean, some of you are probably avid hikers or whatever, and you already know how good that smells at this time of year, and also in the springtime. So, okay, let me take you back to the other side. and reposition the camera there. And let me just show you the leaves. And this isn't even all the leaves down yet. And just multiply this space by something like, I don't know, I can't tell you how many acres. It's kilometers of forest. That's not owned by us, but I'm just saying we have about 44. See the mushrooms growing there? Yeah. So how did I do it last time? I leave it like that for now, and then I'll come and readjust it. It smells so good. A single crow is making that much noise. Okay, where are you? Yeah? A sip of water. You should always drink water before you're thirsty. Because once you're thirsty, it's kind of too late. So when I add I thought it was a piece of plastic, but it's a red leaf. When I add the ash, because it's dry and it's gray, try not to breathe it. Oh, I gotta go get more. Oh man. Well, I gotta go get more. Just enjoy the quiet of forest. Oh, I forgot that I can talk to you with this thing on. When I add ash, it takes some of the moisture away, and it's gray, so rocks are more visible at that time, which I can pick through. Or offer wood ash, to the city folks who save me their leaves. I say save me, I mean, when people rake their leaves and leave them outside for the city, township, whatever, to come and collect, they want to bag it and leave it at the curbside and forget about it. Well, it makes sense. But for me, though, I'm only in town once a week, and if it doesn't get collected and if it gets rained on, well, I don't want to put that in the car. I don't have a truck, which, by the way, may be something that you might want to consider if you're moving here. And I say here, I mean to this lifestyle, or literally here, I don't know. The reason is because that even though you may be used to potholes in the city, you're not necessarily hitting them with any particular speed. And the roads, although they get cleared, so much of snow, that is, so much quicker than in the city. More raindrops. They are sort of rough. And so if you don't have a truck, then you might want to have a car that's really heavy duty in terms of shocks and tires. And what you want is you never want big tires like what they call low profile tires, and those are tires that are 19 inches. That's the diameter of the rim or more. Some cars have a 21 inch diameter. Some fancier cars. I don't know somebody once decided that that would be a thing unless you live in Miami or somewhere. I don't know why you would want all metal and no rubber. Rubber is what you need to cushion you, especially here. So I've done my ash here and done my compost. It's a beautiful crystal quartz rock. I have a lot. If you're ever here, I will gift you one. Somebody was saying, since you're not doing ads, ask people to donate and then give them things. But the fact is that shipping costs so much that it's not really feasible. I'd rather just give folks that are guests that are here for free, or if they hire me to help them with their build or purchasing their property to consult with than to mail anything. Okay, let me go get some compost. Shouldn't be long. It's not worth shaking the camera for you. You can hear it though, even though you can't see it. What's with all these rocks? Jeez. For me, this is a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. I love it. I can do this all day. This and pruning. Okay, and harvesting. Oh, and weeding. I don't mind weeding. Well, I mean, this whole thing. I wouldn't exchange this for... I wouldn't want to go back in the city again. I mean, if I have to, I have to, but I'd rather not. I don't mean any offense. But I've been there. Yeah. I'm just doing half the bucket at a time so I can see some rocks. Easier to remove. But it is easier to dump the whole thing all at once. It's always something, yeah? Oh. Wow, it's getting warm. I would have been here earlier today, but it was too cold. And I still haven't acclimatized. In a couple of months, maybe in a month, we'd be wishing for temperatures like today. Like this morning, now it's just 10 degrees Celsius. Just mixing making sure it's all nicely mixed and removing rocks. Not doing anything extraordinary. Hi folks. It's been a very busy day. Boy, where to start? I had a couple of folks from Morocco. Well, they're not here directly from Morocco. In another town, an hour and a half away. New immigrants that were here to look at the car that I'm selling, our old car, and they took longer than I expected, and so I'm behind on my garden work, and I'm frantically trying to do as much as I can before we get a lot of rain that's scheduled for tomorrow. And in my frenzy to get as much as I can done, I forgot to shoot the continuation of the compost and into the raised beds for you. I apologize, but now that I remembered, I mean, it's not too late, but I'll show you what I've done so far. So last time I were here, if you remember, I removed all those logs, so that large compost bin was open for me to take out the compost from a year ago. Mix that with, if you remember me mixing it with ash and manure, chicken manure, before going in the beds. So today I finished it. I finished emptying this large compost bin, and I started relayering it with this year's compost, which you'll I mean, I'll tell you what it is, and then you can just imagine it. How about that? I'm sorry. So layering it, one big bag of leaves, from town, from the neighbors that leave their bags of leaves out. This isn't fresh leaves from this year. People haven't necessarily started raking their leaves yet. So that was a bag from a year ago. So super dry, exactly a year old, and breaking up pretty much on their own. You can see actually some of them that are poking their heads out. Super dry and crumbly. Wonder if I can. Can you hear it? Anyway, then continuing with ash, a layer of ash, wood ash, a layer of this compost that you're seeing. This is a year-old compost now that's been in our former chicken coop. And then just like a lasagna sort of thing, just layering it and layering it, layering it, layering it till it is now a good 3 feet high. And it would have been higher in height, but the weight of this manure is so gorgeous, and in it they're just teeming with red wrigglers. If you know what they look, there was just one there and escaped. Maybe next time I'll bring you a couple of buckets over. In fact, I have a couple of buckets here. Oh yeah, I'm not done layering it. I'll show you, and that is brilliant. I mean, you normally have to buy those, and when you buy warm, what do they call it? Warm, ah, warm poop. Come on, what's the name of it? And it's very expensive for a small bag. You pay about $20 here. And that's what it is. It's their poop. It's their, they eat whatever and then they poop it, and that becomes insanely good compost. And so I'm going to continue this. I don't have much left. As you can see, I'm almost at the top of it. It's almost level. And then I will go inside and I will show you how I prepare the, excuse me, how I prepare the ground for this year's compost. And this enormous thing that you see will now sit and compost So we're resting, no touching it till next year. Here in one of these 3 compost bins that you may or may not be able to see, I have in this one whatever woodier. Uh, hi, we're back. Um, do you see these tiny, tiny red things just wriggling? And there's so many of them. I have to go close up because otherwise the the this camera is showing wide angle. It wants to show you as much as it can rather than close up. Maybe I'll just hold it like that, and if it's clear enough, you can see the soil move everywhere, and that's what they are. Smells really good too. Mm. And the quiet of the forest. Sorry if I was yelling earlier. I was out of breath and I was trying to do all these things, and I'm still not going to be done. But after this, I got more chores to do. Okay, I'll come back and shoot some more stuff. Plants that were in the garden, like peas, cucumbers, maybe squashes, and then you also see being layered with comfrey, which is over there, all proud, standing proud. Still have some purple flowers on them, and also nettles, stinging nettles. Yeah, that's the one. You guessed it, and that goes in here. So this will break down too till next year, just till I go and compost it. Not spread it, or yeah, spread it. So I'm just gonna empty a couple of buckets of this fresh compost that I have, so you can see how many red regulars are in there. Before I might have a couple more before I then top it with more leaves, and then let it sit here and decompose till next year. See you in a bit.